Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. I don't know who should be coaching the Steelers. I haven't did enough research to say, oh, this person should coach the Steelers and that person should coach the Steelers. But I know two guys who definitely should not be coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the first name I'm going to start with is Brian Flores. This is the name that I keep being seen thrown around by Steelers fans and people in the media. And it's just like, you got to be kidding me. All right. We're talking about the same guy that was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins that is suing the NFL of all places for racism, but he still wants to work in the NFL. Excuse me. So the Miami Dolphins, the owners didn't realize that he's black with a Hispanic last name. They didn't realize that when they gave him the job. Somehow, because he failed as a coach, the NFL is racist. He's suing the NFL right now for racism. And you have fans and media people saying that Brian Flores should definitely be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that would be the worst mistake that the Pittsburgh Steelers ever could make, ever, period. I don't even know how it's like laughable that his name is even coming up to be the Steelers head coach. It's just like, give me a break. Really, just stop, please, with the idiocy. And the next name I hear is Freeman from Notre Dame. Hold on, I don't know why I was. Oh, Marcus Freeman. Now here's the problem that I have with Marcus Freeman's name, or him as the coach of the Steelers, I should say. Excuse me. He's a college coach with zero NFL experience. And he's had some success in college. But look at the college that he coaches, Notre Dame. He's the coach of Notre Dame. You are going to get the top players in the country just being the coach of Notre Dame. The name speaks for itself. And with all those advantages, has he won a national championship yet? No, he hasn't. Now, he's had some success, but he's fallen short many times on many occasions. And then if he comes to coach the Steelers are starting from the ground up. He's probably going to have to coach a rookie quarterback or somebody gets in the draft or whatever the case, whether it's a free agent, it doesn't matter. He has zero NFL experience, absolutely zero NFL experience. And the talk around town is Freeman should definitely be Marcus. Why do I keep mispronouncing his name? Let me make sure. Let me look it up real quick. Marcus Freeman. I'm pretty sure it's Marcus Freeman. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. I was calling him a different last name for some reason. And the talk around town is Marcus Freeman should be the head. No doubt about it. He should be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to listen to Dan Orlowski's take on this today. The ultimate cuck in America. He's so pathetic. You got to hear his take on this. Marcus Freeman, really? Really, Dan? Why are you saying this, Dan? Why are you really saying what you're saying? Again, Marcus Freeman, no NFL experience. He's going to have to come in and coach one of the worst Pittsburgh Steelers teams ever. Statistically, we are last in every category. He's probably going to get a rookie quarterback. But somehow, some way, you think that Marcus Freeman, no questions about it, he should just be given the job automatically. Leave it to ESPN. The pandering, it never stops. It just never, ever stops. It's just so pathetic. Let's jump in here and see what's going on.
All-time great coaches. If I were the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think the first name that I would call would be Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. I would call Marcus Freeman, and I don't think I would get off the phone. I would do everything I could to throw everything I could at Marcus Freeman. He's one of the great leaders in football right now, college or the NFL. I think he fits a lot of the...
How is he a great leader in the NFL, Dan? How is he a great leader in the NFL? Has he ever coached in the NFL before? Does he have any NFL head coaching experience? Right, Dan.
I kind of the characteristics that we've seen from Mike Tomlin and Bill Cowher. It's a new day in Pittsburgh. There obviously needs to be a rebuild and a restart, and we've seen that character and conviction are the trademarks of their coaches rather than X's and O's. So Mike Tomlin, all-time great, and if I were the Steelers, I would get on the phone today.
And youth, right? They've been willing, this organization, to hire younger, maybe less established coaches. Mike Tomlin, it feels like, I know it's been 19 years, but you're.
Leave it to Miss Wokeness herself, Mina Kimes, to chime in. Knows absolutely nothing about football.
Remember when he was a young defensive coach?
Kind of like out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, and I was like, oh man, he's replacing the great, Bill Cowher. Okay, so as far as why,
Like, do you see the way she said that? He's replacing Bill Cowher, that nobody. Bill Cowher's a nobody. He's not the right caller.
get to the candidates and what's next for them, let's talk a little bit about why I do think this ultimately was the right decision. First, we have to acknowledge that Mike Tomlin was a victim of his own success. This team was never bad enough to fix the quarterback position. They were always just too good, but then not good enough when you got into the.
Mike Tomlin was a victim of his own success. Interesting take. Interesting. So I guess when Mike Tomlin picked Kenny Pickett, pick number 20, the softest man in the NFL, it really wasn't Mike Tomlin's fault. Mike Tomlin, who controlled the entire Pittsburgh Steelers roster, no, it wasn't his fault either. Somebody else's fault. He was just a victim to his own success, you would say, Because after all, picking 20th in the draft or 16th or 15th, it's just what a detriment. I don't know how anybody can overcome that.
Postseason. In fact, their last 4 playoff games, pretty disastrous in terms of, point differential. So he was always making the most out of the team they had, but it was never good enough to really compete with the top of the NFL. I do think that is more about the quarterback than anything else on this team. Granted, this was the most expensive defense in football this year. It didn't live up to it, and he definitely wears some of that. But when I look at the failures they've had in the postseason, the struggles over the years, the games that they didn't win, the fact that they've not had one of those elite quarterbacks weighs heavily on that. And then you look to, well, why is that? And I think it's an organizational failure. It's not just on Tomlin. GM Omar Khan. His name
Oh my
I haven't really heard
God.
much today.
It's an organizational failure. Tomlin, here, Mina, I got bad news for you, Miss Wokeness. Tomlin makes all the decisions about the roster. Who they draft, free agents, who comes, who goes, who plays, who starts. Obviously, you don't follow the team. There's always got to be a built-in excuse for Tomlin. Oh, no, it's the organization's fault. It's Omar Khan's fault. It's not Mike Tomlin's fault at all. The guy who has total control. But when the Steelers are winning and they're dominating for, short stretches at a time, people like Mina Kimes, oh, it's all Tomlin. He's got his hands all over the organization. He's doing everything by himself.
Those are his choices. But Tomlin also had a hand in bringing in some of these vets. Obviously, that's the number one thing that the Steelers have to get figured out for next year, because right now we don't know who's playing quarterback.
Yeah, I share the sentiments with both of y'all. The first thing comes to my mind is, 1, he's a Hall of Famer. 2, he's a Super Bowl champion and kept a franchise relevant for 19 years.
Oh, here
and
we go.
know the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now Mike Tomlin has a big block in that history of what the Pittsburgh Steelers story is. We remember the games, we remember the plays. He's just a phenomenal coach. Funny story, Mike Tomlin was on the staff with Tampa when I was at the Senior Bowl coming out of college. And you could immediately tell that, and Monty Kiffin was obviously the leader of that defense in Tampa at the time, and you could tell immediately what his character was leading them to. Raheem Morris was also a part of that staff. You saw a lot of young coaches, a lot of guys that just knew what they were doing.
Well, since Tomlin's the greatest coach ever, Marcus Spears wants to say, how come he has no coaching tree? How come none of the coaches that Mike Tomlin has ever been part of his coaching staff have went on and, got head coaching jobs other places? Or where is Mike Tomlin's coaching tree, I should be saying, simply? Oh, that's right. He doesn't have one. In 19 years, he doesn't have one. And let's remember another thing. Coach Tomlin inherited Big Ben. So in 19 years, Coach Tomlin couldn't develop or draft a quarterback. Coach Tomlin inherited Big Ben from Bill Cowher. It's undeniable, so it's whatever. So in 19 years, he couldn't get the quarterback position right. But somehow that's the organization's fault.
And knew how to connect to people. And that's what I think about when I think about Mike Tomlin. He was a connector. And
Here
in
we
this
go.
business, a lot of times we get caught up in
Okay, we can forget the connecting and the motivational speeches and all the other garbage. I want an offensive wizard. I want an X's and O's guy. I don't care what color he is, black, white, purple, red, Muslim, nom. I don't care. I could care less about any of the bullshit. Just give me a guy that wins. Listen, being 2 games above 500 every year for the last 10 years, it's not cutting it at all. And then you watch Art Rooney today during his press conference, and I'm just totally under the impression that Art Rooney was absolutely fine with everything that was being done. Mike Tomlin was doing everything fine. Like, if Mike Tomlin didn't resign, I'm under the impression that Art Rooney, he was full speed ahead. Let's do it again next year. No big deal. And it's just like, I really got that impression from Art Rooney today, that Art Rooney was like, let's do it again. Let's see the same thing over and over and over again. Let's bang our heads into a wall for 17 weeks out of the year. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Let's lose to the teams we're supposed to beat. You know the old story. You really, everybody knows the story by now. If you say you don't know the story, I don't know what the hell to tell you. It's just absolutely, ridiculous. It really is. Hey, isn't there like an instant messenger on this live? Can anybody type and say, "Hey, I'm here"? Because I thought this was supposed to be live where people could chat. I'm doing this through OBS Studio. I'm not doing it through YouTube, and it's always some technical bullshit. That's why I pushed this back an hour. And if I don't see this come up today, then I'm gonna have to pay somebody to come here and hook this up. But again, I don't know who should coach the Steelers. I don't know who should coach them. But I know who shouldn't coach them, and that's Brian Flores and Marcus Freeman. That I know for a fact. The Steelers in the draft. Hey, again, I said this last night. I'm fully fine with Will Howard being the starting quarterback. I do not want to do the same thing next year. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back. But all this talk, let's run it back with Rod. No. I'd rather win 5 games next year than do the same thing over and over and beat my head against the wall. And, all these comments, everything is race and politics. And that's all you see in the comment section is like, oh, these inbred yinzers, they just wanted Coach Tomlin out of there because he was black. It's just like, just shut up. No, we wanted him gone because we're tired of mediocrity. We're tired of the organization being driven into the abyss of mediocrity. I could care less what color Mike Tomlin is. I don't give a shit at all. And that's all you see in the comment section is like, oh, the fans didn't appreciate it. And you wait till next year, you're going to be sorry. I'm not going to be sorry if the Steelers go 5-12 or whatever it is, 5-11. I'm not going to be sorry at all because we went in a new direction. And there's going to be some growing pains along the line. So it's like, oh, you're going to be real sorry next year. You just wait. No, I'm not. Had enough. Oh, you're going to be sitting there. Oh, no. Don't care if we win 4 games. As long as we're somewhat competitive on all the games, and let's just say we only won 5, you know what? We have to see in 2025, it's just everybody's mentality. You forget Troy Aikman, his first year, he won 1 game, went 1-15. Peyton Manning didn't really play that well either as rookie year. Everybody wants to skip everybody thinks you should draft a rookie quarterback and automatically you should be in the Super Bowl and that'll fix your problems. Like, what game are you watching? What NFL game are you watching? That's not how it works. And the only reason why Tomlin made the playoffs this year wasn't because of his wonderful coaching. It was because of Aaron Rodgers, a 42-year-old quarterback. That's why. You think Mike Tomlin had some great coaching scheme going into the playoffs? Aaron Rodgers was the one that held the glue. Aaron Rodgers is the reason why the Steelers made the playoffs. Wasn't for Aaron Rodgers, we win 4 games this year. It's just like, shut up already. Just shut up. Like, do you even watch the games? Do you even have a clue what you're talking about? Oh, you're going to be sorry when Tomlin's gone. No, the hell, I'm not sorry at all. We knew it. Here, let's not forget this. Mike Tomlin had the 3 Bs, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Big Ben, and all in their prime. Troy Polamalu defense. I'm pretty sure James Harrison was still on defense. Still an elite defense. He had the 3 Bs. And he couldn't win it with that group. And that is the elite of the elite of the elite. You are never going to get players that good again, ever. Never. And if he couldn't win it with that group, you think he's going to win it with inferior talent? Not going to happen. Wasn't going to happen. And again, going back to Art Rooney's press conference today, I'm just like watching the press conference and I'm like, holy shit, if Tomlin didn't resign, Art Rooney was ready to do this for the next 2 years. I'm like, man, wow. I got to get Art Rooney as a boss. He's very forgiving. Everybody needs Art Rooney as a boss. Here we go. Adam Schefter is reporting. Steelers request to interview Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores. Oh, no, please stop. This clown, oh my God. Flores will be a popular name for Steelers fans after he spent 1 season with Pittsburgh in 2022. Pittsburgh, excuse me. All my haters call it Schittsburg and Pittsburgh, so I don't want you to think I joined that group. With Pittsburgh in 2022 as the linebackers coach under Tomlin, Tomlin gave Flores a chance to get back into NFL coaching after he brought a lawsuit against the league alleging discrimination in its hiring practices for head coaching jobs. Oh, okay, Brian. That's funny, Brian. Oh, they didn't know you were a man of color before they gave you the job. They only figured that out afterwards. I don't even know how Art Rooney has this moron in the building. He would not be welcomed in the building if I was running things. Nope. Not dealing with the nonsense or the bullshit. We had enough bullshit the last 18 years. No, I'm good. I don't need Flores. Clown. I know a player. I can't say his name because he'll get mad. That was with the Miami Dolphins when Flores got hired. He told me point blank, every day, every meeting, everything they had going on, Flores would start the meeting with some come up story from the time he was a kid. And he grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment with 9 brothers and sisters. And he told some motivational nonsense about his background. And somehow he thought that motivated the team. It's just like, dude, listen, great story, but you're not here for that. You're here to coach football, X's and O's. I'm not saying you can't be emotional or, tell a story to help your team become a team. But every day he said to me, all the focus all the time, every time Flores walked into the room was his poor come up story. And after a while, the team is just like tuning him out, which I can't blame them for doing because I wouldn't want to hear it every day either at all. Flores is not, I'm telling you, the Steelers hire Flores, I might just shut my channel down. I might be just like, I'm effing done. If they hire Flores as the head coach, I honestly might just say, I can't do this anymore. Really. I just can't. I just can't do it. Because I cannot stand him at all. Oh, we got to give Flores a shot. Oh, give me a break. Steelers signed 13 players to offseason roster. You know what? I'm not going to name them because it doesn't matter. You're not going to have a clue who these guys are. Anyway, hey, I wish you all luck. I hope you all become the next superstar and, become the next great Pittsburgh Steeler, end up in the Hall of Fame. Prove me wrong. I hope you do. I do. Just because I don't want to get into it doesn't mean, I don't want you to have success. Art Rooney II confirms who will lead search for Steelers' next head coach. This should be interesting. We turn to our search for our next head coach. Omar Khan and I will lead the search, Rooney said during a Wednesday press conference via the team's YouTube channel. We'll rely on others in the organization to help us as we go forward. Look forward to getting started to the search and the next chapter of Steelers football. Mr. Rooney, listen, if you're watching my show, hopefully you are, you could pay me to be your assistant, and I'll just sit next to you and I'll just stay quiet the entire time. I will not speak unless spoken to. And when you want to give guys like Brian Flores a job, I'll remind you why you shouldn't give guys like Brian Flores the job, or Marcus Freeman, or other individuals. I'm sure the comment, "You're a racist." No, I don't care what color the coach is, just as long as he has NFL experience and he's not suing the NFL for racism. I mean, I don't think I'm asking for too much. Give me a nice salary, 150 grand a year. I'll sit right next to you. I'll do your errands. I'll do everything for you around the office. I'll get your laundry. But when the time comes, when crunch time comes, you need to trust my intuition. You need to trust me. When I say this guy is no good, whether it's a player we're going to draft or a coach, you need to listen. You need to listen. I like Derek Harmon, the pick. I like the pick. He has all the intangibles. But I was watching some of the game, the all 22 form, and Derek Harmon was getting blown off the ball by the Houston Texans. And here's a problem I see with Derek Harmon. He's got the speed, he's got the tenacity, he's got the nastiness. And from time to time, he can anchor and hold it down from time to time. But he needs to get stronger in the lower body. He needs to give Westside Barbell a call in Ohio. Ask Jack Sawyer. I guarantee he knows about it. They will get you super strong, super strong. And then if Derek Harmon took my advice and gave Westside Barbell a call and trained there religiously, he is going to the Hall of Fame. But when I see him get blown off the ball like that sometimes, I just think to myself, it's a strength issue. Sometimes he has it, but I've seen him get blown off the ball quite a few times, and it's not a good sign. He needs to get stronger in the weight room. I like Derek Harmon a lot. I like the pick, so I'm not saying he didn't have a good year. Jack Sawyer, I love the pick. You saw Captain Jack. Every time they needed a big play for Steelers, Captain Jack stepped up and he did his thing. I love the YA Black pick also. I like Will Howard. He got hurt, unfortunately, so we're gonna have to see. I had something else that I wanted to show you guys. I'm not going to get into all these coaches who the Steelers are trying to interview because it's just like, whatever. It's just too much. Uh, let's see what Arthur Smith had to say about Mike Tomlin retiring. Offensive coordinator Arthur Smith offers thoughts on Mike Tomlin after former Steelers head coach resignation. It just came down to this. He had his own unique relationship with every player and every coach. Arthur Smith told Albert Breer for Sports Illustrated after the news of Mike Tomlin's resignation broke. He's just a very approachable person, and then he's got a lot of empathy, and I think he took everybody on, and he saw that person as an individual, and that's why he had his own relationship with them. He did that with all three phases, where he would talk through what he saw and gave you his opinion for defensively, how they were built and stuff like that. We're doing schematically, he said, after Tomlin would emerge from his private office, cutting up film to distribute to his coaches for the week to kick things into gear. He did a good job kind of setting the table for the entire team, and it carried over in his team meetings. All right, look, it's just, hey, look, whatever was going on, I don't know. I'm not there, but it wasn't, obviously it's not working. Mark Madden, he had this thing today. He said that all the Steelers playoff games from Tomlin, we lost in double digits. So we lost every single playoff game in double digits. And then versus the Houston Texans, we were outgained like by 200 and something yards, the most in, I think, playoff history or Steeler history, one or the other. So obviously it's not working. It's just not working. When you get blown out like that and the other team just outgains you by 300 yards, whatever you're doing is not working. And we've seen that. Here, I'm going to read you I'm going to tell you some of the things that are being said online. This tweet was from Daniel Vellante. These are the kind of excuses that you keep seeing. Mike Tomlin was 68, 48, and 1 since 2019 with 5 playoff berths using Ben Roethlisberger in final years. Okay. And he inherited Ben, so he didn't draft him or sign him in free agency. Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers in his final year. Won't find many head coaches who can do that. It's just like, you know what, dude? Are you like totally delusional? You see these comments all over the place. And guess what? Guess who was responsible for either drafting these players or signing them through free agency? Mike Tomlin. It's like, oh, look what Mike Tomlin did with all these shitty ass players. They're so effing terrible. And look how good he was. 2 games above 500 for the last 10 or 13 years. And guess what? Mike Tomlin's the one that brought those players there. It's just like, oh, I can't take the excuses anymore for all the excuses that people are making for Tomlin. Oh, the organization didn't provide a good quarterback for Tomlin to win. And look, he was still 2 games above 500 every year. Mike Tomlin ran the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. He ran the draft. He ran free agency. He decided who plays, who goes, who stays. It's just like, shut up already. Just shut up. Mike Tomlin was the captain of the ship. He was steering the ship. He was in total control. And now that the ship basically sank, it's like, oh no, you'll be sorry next year. You're gonna realize how good you had it. Now that Mike Tomlin's gone, he's gonna go, so he'll get hired in 2 seconds. 90 teams will be lined up to hire Mike Tomlin. Well, guess I hope they do. I hope they line up tomorrow. I hope Tomlin gets the job of a lifetime. You want to know why? So the Steelers can get some draft picks out of this. Because the Steelers don't get any draft picks by Mike Tomlin saying that he doesn't want to coach in 2026. So since Mike Tomlin's like, oh, I'm not interested in coaching, we're not going to get anything out of the deal. I pray to God Mike Tomlin gets, you know what, Mike? I hope you get the dream job that you want. I hope they give you the front office, you're the scout, everything that give it to Tomlin. $100 million contract, 1 year, $100 million contract, just so the Steelers can get the draft picks that we need. I'm all about the black and gold winning. Listen, sayonara, Tomlin. It's been lovely. We did our thing. It was a long ride. I wish you the best, but it's over. You know, and another thing that a lot of people are not going to discuss, but it's my job to discuss these things because this is the rumor around Pittsburgh. And the rumor is this, and you don't have to like what I'm saying. You're like, oh, you're just saying that because you want to dump on them. And listen, nobody wanted Tomlin to be more successful than me. I don't need to have a new coach every year. But when it's not working, it's not working. So these things are not personal. If you're going to be a YouTuber or you consider yourself a reporter, you have to talk about what you hear and the rumors that you hear. And this is the rumor that I heard. You saw Art Rooney today. He comes out and says Tomlin wanted to spend time with his family. And of course, who doesn't? That's a good thing. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's a negative thing. But this is exactly what I heard. I heard that Mike Tomlin's wife moved out of the house, moved to Florida because Mike Tomlin got a young woman pregnant in Newcastle in a cigar shop that he owned or was a part of or whatever. That's the rumor that I heard. And I've heard that from multiple people. I heard that when the baby was born, he refused to sign the birth certificate, that his wife found out, and that he moved. That's what I've been hearing. And then his son, Dino Tomlin, the reason why his son, Dino Tomlin, a couple weeks ago was on TikTok and making YouTube videos and everything else, calling white people Neanderthals and Barstool. He was calling them all types of names, Neanderthals and degenerates, is because Barstool was the one that broke the story about Coach Tomlin having this baby out of wedlock. And I've heard the same thing. I've heard it from multiple people. You know, I didn't pay attention at all to what Barstool said. I've heard this from multiple people. I've put it out there that I'd like to speak to the girl. I'd like to interview her and get her side of the story. They haven't gotten back to me yet. I'm hoping that, you know, they see my video and they want to do an interview because I'd love to hear her side of the story. But I heard My opinion is one of the reasons why Mike Tomlin stepped down is because he's having family issues, not just because he wanted to spend time with his family. And I have to report what I hear. That's what's being talked about in Newcastle and all around Pittsburgh and parts of Pittsburgh, that Mike Tomlin had a baby out of wedlock and the baby was born recently and he refused to sign the birth certificate. So hopefully, the young woman here sees my video, wants to get interviewed. We can hear her side of the story, her family, whether it's her uncle, whoever wants to speak to me, that's fine. I'd love to get to the bottom of this, let you say your 2 cents of what's happening. It's not that I'm trying to dump on Tomlin, but we've heard these things. And then Dino, his son, has come out attacking everybody who's, in media and talking about this, calling them all types of names. And my question is, to Dino Tomlin, is like, okay, well, let's just say hypothetically it's true. Are you going to apologize to all the people you called these horrible names to? Probably not, because that's not how Dino rolls. But let's move on from that National Enquirer type stuff. Let's talk football. Let's talk Steelers football. Look, I don't know who the Steelers should hire, but I know, again, two things. They shouldn't be hiring Brian Flores, and I don't want to see Marcus Freeman at all. I want a coach with NFL experience that's an offensive wizard, or, at least if he's a defensive guy. I want to see John Gruden on. I want to see Chucky. I want to see Chucky. I think the fan base will be super energized at John Gruden, whether he's the quarterback's coach, the offensive coordinator, whether he's the head coach. I'm with it. I think the fan base will go absolutely crazy if Chucky gets signed. I hope Gruden gets an opportunity. We all know what Roger Goodell did to him, and Roger Goodell released those emails. He wanted John Gruden to look bad, and the reason why he did that is because Roger Goodell is a hypocrite and a politician, and John Gruden was trying to build the Raiders the old school way. He assembled Antonio Brown, Richie Incognito, Vontez Burfict, and Mike Tomlin, and excuse me, Roger Goodell knows, like, as a football fan, if I see Chucky doing that, I'm rooting for the Raiders. You know what I mean? Like, he knows that the fans, even if they're not fans of the Raiders, are going to root for that type of football. And that type of football goes against everything that the low-life politician Roger Goodell stands for. So what did Roger Goodell do? He had to stop that immediately. So he had to let those emails out to slander John Gruden, character assassination, to get him out of the league. Now, the Steelers and Art Rooney, they're all about fairness and let's hire the best man for the job and opportunity and let's give him somebody now. Well, why don't you give John Gruden an opportunity? He deserves it. His life was ruined over absolutely nothing. The Rooneys are all about opportunity. Then give the man an opportunity. Let's see what he could do. He's still young enough. He has the passion. He has the presence. He can command respect when he walks in a locker room. He can bring together a team. We all know he could do it. So come on, Art Rooney, give him a shot. Give him a chance. Do it the Rooney way. Do it the Steeler way. Well, I'm going to end it with that. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.